Good day, students. Welcome to today's social studies class. I hope you all are enjoying your holiday. Today, we're going to continue from where we stopped in the last class. That is consequences of drug trafficking. That was where we stopped. Remember, the last class we talked about drug trafficking, and I introduced you to the topic drug trafficking, and I gave you the definition of drug trafficking, and I also gave you reasons for drug trafficking and the consequences of drug trafficking. So today we are going to be talking about prevention of drug trafficking. How drug trafficking can be prevented. How drug trafficking can be prevented. Now, there are several ways drug trafficking can be prevented. I'll be giving you 4 different ways in which drug trafficking can be prevented. The first one is education. The second one is poverty alleviation. Number 3 is legislation. And number 4 is international cooperation. So after explaining these 4 ways drug trafficking can be prevented, then we are going to discuss agencies that deals with drug trafficking. Now let's start with education as a way of preventing drug trafficking. Now the populace, that is the population, the entire masses should be educated and enlightened on the danger that traffic in drugs portends or brings. Now, the moment the citizen or the populace is being educated or enlightened about the danger, about the consequences, about the effects or bad effects of drug trafficking in the society, it will go a long way to prevent drug trafficking. The moment the citizens are educated, the moment they are being told or taught about the effects or the consequences of drug trafficking, then it's going to go a long way in preventing drug trafficking in our society. That is education. It can also mean creating of awareness. Another one is poverty alleviation. The government should initiate poverty alleviation programs and create more jobs for teeming unemployed population. Now, one of the reasons why people engage in drug trafficking is because of poverty, because they are poor and they need something that will bring in money for them, even though it is illegal, and they don't mind it being illegal as long as it's bringing in money, as long as it's lucrative and money is coming in from such illegal acts. So poverty alleviation has to do with governments setting up or initiating some programs that will enable the unemployed or the citizen at large to see it as an illegal business so that they will not engage in it, because the poverty rate is too high. Poverty rate is high, and government should ensure that some programs are being put in place, and they should also create employment for the unemployed. When we talk about the reasons why people engage in it in the other class, we talk about unemployment, because we have high rates of unemployment and people who are jobless, who are jobless and they have nothing to do, they engage in this act. So the moment government creates employment or job opportunity for the unemployed, then it's going to go a long way in preventing drug trafficking. Now, the next one is legislation. Appropriate laws should be made and sanctions and penalties should be attached to traffic of drugs. Now, the government should put in place laws, and sanctions and penalties should be put in place for any drug traffickers that is being apprehended. Now, this will serve as deterrent to people who also engage in this act. The moment that such law is being put in place, then anybody who is now caught in that act will be punished, and such individual will be penalized or sent to jail. Then the last one is international cooperation. International cooperation should be strengthened among the community of nations so that culprits could be arrested wherever they may be. There should be no hiding place for drug pushers. When we talk about the definition of drug trafficking, it has to do with importing and exporting, and it is not confined only in our country alone. It has to do with other nations and other countries, because you notice that in some cases they do apprehend drug traffickers in airports trying to uh, export the drug outside the countries, and in such way they hide it in their luggage or in their body and all those places. So anybody caught with such acts should be punished. That is, it has to do with countries cooperating among one another to ensure that those people caught, those people engaged, those drug traffickers should be severely dealt with. So it has to do with cooperation among countries. For example, Nigeria can cooperate with US, that anybody caught with drug trafficking in US from Nigeria should be punished or should be deported and sent back home to face the wrath of law. The same thing can happen in Nigeria, that anybody caught in Nigeria, a citizen from US caught in Nigeria trafficking drugs, should be sent back to US to be punished or to face the wrath of law. That is international cooperation. It has to do with countries coming together to cooperate among one another and to ensure that drug traffickers should be severely dealt with if found or caught in another country. Now, agencies dealing with drug trafficking, agencies dealing